And one more time, we're going to try to record the narration that goes along with this. This is where we start taking the fuselage out of the workshop. It's a nicely heated and air-conditioned workshop, about 16 by 45. As you can see, there's temporary dolly on there, except if I put the full-size wheels on there, they will not fit in here anymore. So it's a little bit of a head, just barely fits out the door, height-wise and angle-wise. Well, you can see I usually do things on my own by myself. I can get help if I need to. Yeah, and here you go. Gonna make it out the door now. Going. And now from the shop side, from the hangar side. Yeah, and don't forget the Austrian flag up there looking down on us. Looking at 8 wheels, and they all want to go a different way. Okay, we finally got them going. Okay, time to install the exhaust manifold, which we couldn't do because the ceiling's too low in the shop. And of course they were torqued down properly. This just. And next the spark plugs get installed, torqued down to 30 foot-pounds. And next comes the propeller, the base plate, the wooden propeller itself, which has been on a few times before. Make sure it's in the right position for starting, that the magneto will click at the right time. Front plate, center plate, lock plate. Washers, bolts, nuts, and they'll all get torqued in. Yeah, now the 8 nuts get torqued down nice and evenly in the crisscross pattern every third. At the right time. Okay. Time to fuel it up. I actually put in 15 gallons in increments so that I could calibrate the fuel tank on there. Yeah, and these are my placards that I made using the acid method, made out of brass. And in Old English language and the American type language, is your calibration in liters and in gallons in the fuel tank. You see the writing, different writing on there. Now it's time to prime the fuel system. We have 2 pumps there. We have to first get all of the air out and get fresh fuel in there. Well, guess what? Time for sunshine. The first time this airplane sees sunshine. Out we come into the sunshine. Well, it only took 5 years to get to this stage. And time to flip on the ignition. My friend Mike Maniatis checking everything over. And here we go. Fires right up. Smokes like it's supposed to. Makes noise. Makes a lot of wind. And it runs. Now, first thing, of course, we gotta look for is oil pressure. Mike's not tall enough to get it. Here we go, a little more power. Very much wind it's blowing. Very good. Now this engine was modified from inverted and to upright, so that took quite a few changes, and it is not perfect yet. I still have to change the oil system. It's not draining out of the crankcase fast enough, so that's going to be next. Here I'm actually turning on the second ignition. I was only running on one mag. Now the second mag, notice a slight increase in RPM. Checking the oil pressure again. Looks good. Little throttle. And it blows a lot of air. Yeah, some of the modification for turning it right side up was required figuring out how to lubricate the rockers. I just love those rockers out in the open. And I installed grease fittings on all of them. And so far this is working good. Yeah, I'll take a look at the oil pressure. The gauge actually reads high. It's not 70. It's probably more like 40 or 50. Gauge is not accurate, but I got good oil pressure. Hey, you'll notice it's not easy keeping the cap on there. There's an awful lot of wind out there. There's my sweater just flying along there. Trying to put the cap on. Here's a little more. Let's try to cap again. Forget it. I don't know how they did that back in the old days. Flying an open airplane, open cockpit like this. And it was much colder. This was a nice warm day, no less. Well, they were dressed to the teeth. You couldn't see only their eyes. Looking good. I love those rockers out in the open. Shows me it's working. And no, I am not walking into the propeller. I am using the zoom on my camera. Well, we did end up with an oil leak. And I shut it down, checked it out. And it turns out that it was the gaskets at the sending unit right here for the oil pressure. They're just copper gaskets. They were not sealing well. One of them blew out. Sprayed oil all over the place. Didn't take much to make a big mess. So that's one thing we got to fix. Well, actually that's fixed already, and we ran it again. And the oil return from the crankcase down to the tank will need to be changed to get the oil out of the crankcase fast. Here's a picture from the left side. You can see how high the oil return line is. Another shot of it here. So the crankcase has several quarts of oil in there. All in all, it was a successful first run.